Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome to Higher Ed Pulse, your Monday morning energizer covering insights and trends in higher ed marketing and enrollment. I'm Mallory Wilsey, bringing over 15 years of ed tech and marketing expertise to your earbuds.
And I'm Seth Odell, joining the Pulse with my own adventures from leading marketing at top universities to founding Kanahoma, one of the industry's fastest growing digital marketing agencies.
Each week, we bring you the kind of insider insights you typically only find over cocktails with your pals at a conference.
It's fast, it's fun, and it's designed for you, the busy higher ed professional.
You're not just listening to another podcast.
You're checking the pulse of higher education.
Higher Ed Pulse is part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher ed professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. We are back live at HighEdWeb, and I have the pleasure of sitting down right now with President Thom of Southwestern College in Santa Fe. Thom, I know that before we hit record, you were letting me know this is your first time at HighEdWeb. And, honestly, we don't see a lot of college presidents wandering these halls. So I'm so curious to hear, from your perspective, why is this event worth coming to? What are you hoping to take away? And I know you've already been to a couple sessions. So what golden nuggets have you started to find?
Well, thanks, Mallory, first of all. But yeah, right out of the gate, I was hoping that I was going to find the little nuggets that I need from all the different areas related to our own web. I mean, why would a president be here? Well, you kind of wrap yourself in the story of your institution wherever you go. And your website is the first place that your prospective students, your community, your donors, alumni, everyone goes to find out more about you. So here I am at the source where I can find out those things like who might be able to help us tell that story a little bit better than we have been since our last web refresh, redesign, which in our case was right around that time before COVID. And we're ready to get out there and, as is so often the case, take that best kept secret and bring it a little more forward.
Tell us a little bit more about Southwestern College, the types of students who are looking to attract, and where you feel like you mentioned it, like the web is the digital front door, but like where throughout that journey are you seeing the web have some key points to communicate the right things so that you are attracting those right students?
Yeah, that's a perfect higher ed web question as well. So we are graduate programs only institution with between 300 and 400 students in any given year. So think along the lines of art therapy, counseling with art therapy focus. We're bringing on a Master of Arts in Transformative Teaching and Counseling program as well. And we have a PhD in Regenerative Leadership, Visionary Practice. So students are coming to us, typically adult learners. Many of them are re-careering, rethinking. Many of them have the support of an employer to go take a step further and do that. But when they come to our website, they're looking for stories. They're looking for outcomes. Typical graduate students, right? Where they're thinking, hey, if I come here, how long is it going to take? What are the opportunities going to be there before me? And we take a transformational learning and educational approach, very experiential, very student-centered, coaching, mentoring all along the way. But it's not enough to say that. It's not enough to push a bunch of narrative for that. Those student testimonials, those connections where you can talk to and see and real faculty, real practitioners are what's making a difference. We can do that very powerfully on our web so that asynchronously students across the world, across the country can find us, because a few years ago we were on-site only. Now we're worldwide. Post-pandemic, many schools face that, and 80% of our students are now studying at a distance instead of that 100% on-site.
It is so true that graduate students are looking for that outcomes information. And of course, the website is an important place where they can find that. The storytelling that you're speaking about, student testimonials and video and social media, and right, there's so many different components to when you have that good story, getting it into the spaces and places where the students are going to be able to find it, access it, and learn from it? So are you incorporating a bunch of different media types into the storytelling currently? And I know you're looking to redesign your site. Like, is that, are you thinking about how does video play a role in this versus just like splashing a quote on a landing page?
Yeah, again, perfect questions when you're thinking about redesign, for example. So really fortunate that at Southwestern College, we already have some of those metrics. We've got that dashboard to see when we're putting content out, for example, through our YouTube channel, which is one of the ones that we want to upgrade now that we realize there's a demographic that's looking at that. The students that are in kind of the 25 to 34-year-old are gravitating towards YouTube more so than they are Instagram, more of a traditional student straight out of a bachelor's program. So we've got to think about both those platforms. Are we using video? Are we using images? Are we doing mixed media of some kind? As a school that has, embedded in it, in art therapy, for example, you have artists that are coming into that. They're expecting to see, okay, how does this fit into my studio art experience? Do I still have that? How does that wrap into the experiential learning that I'll do with potential clients down the road? My clinicals, my opportunity as I move from pure art, if you will, to being a practitioner in therapy or counseling setting. So yes, we've got to think about the different approaches, the different platforms, but also think about the ones we're going to maximize. In other words, where is that return on investment? I said we're small, not a huge Marcom team. It's an all hands on deck kind of approach. So where do we actually see, okay, the clicks are happening here, or the inquiries are coming from there, so that we focus on that, really focus on our strengths and not, we're not all things to all people on majors already, obviously, as a graduate institution, but we're not going to be all things to all platforms. We're going to focus on our strength and build from there.
You just mentioned that you have a small but mighty Marcom team, and listeners of The Pulse know that I am constantly talking about where artificial intelligence can play a role in boosting teams' efficiency and effectiveness and saving time. And I genuinely believe that, especially for those small and mighty teams, it can take a team of 3 to 300 with the right integrations. I am so curious, Thom, to hear what your thoughts are on AI today. And are you incorporating it? Are your teams incorporating it into their work? Where do you see the potentials? I so rarely get to ask this question to a president, so I am eagerly sitting on the edge of my seat to hear your answer.
All right, so I'm not going to push you off your seat or over the edge, but it's a little bit in practice. And of course, you would expect with AI, it's experimental as well. So for example, sometimes it's just, writing that short piece, that blog, or some of the bullet points that we want to be part of something, and giving it a run through ChatGPT, letting AI say, here's how I would write it. What do you think? So that's basic experimentation. Maybe it's a little bit smoother. We've got graduate assistants, interns who are working with us on that Marcom team. They're not all professional writers. They don't all come from that background. Again, they may come from art and counseling, other life backgrounds. To say that they need to do something in a way where they don't have that kind of training makes it tougher for them. So if they have a tool to try out and then run by someone who has that background, so much the better. You can also use AI to, before that complete transformation of the website happens, scrub through what we have there. I mentioned it's pretty narrative, text intensive. Hey, let's take advantage of AI going through that and saying, well, here's some of those themes. Here's what's emerging. Here's what you seem to be saying about yourself. That can lead us to thinking more about SEO. What do we want to emphasize? Or are we emphasizing the wrong things as we go forward? So I think it's a powerful tool right now, more in the, experiment and learn with it and from it, and then begin to think later on. It's like, how does it fit with our mission and our values and our culture? Maybe because we're small, we're going to stick with that people-to-people approach. Somebody says, I want to know more. They're going to get that call. They're going to get that text, that opportunity to engage in that way. Maybe not a chatbot right away, but doesn't mean that we want to have some content out there that AI has helped us build.
Well, web redesign is really the perfect time to take a step back and think about that whole MarTech stack and where those new tools and innovations can fit in. So it's really, lovely to hear that you're encouraging the experimentation at this stage. That is not the case on every campus. And I talked to a lot of marketers off the record who are lamenting that They're not given the opportunity to experiment. So on behalf of all of them, thank you for thank you for leading a different path. Thom, I know this is not your first stint as a president at a college. You worked for a community college, a liberal arts Catholic institution, and now you're at Southwestern College. And so you've seen different team sizes. You've seen where those higher ed silos can get in the way of just getting shit done. So what are the benefits from your perspective of being at school where the staff size is a little smaller and something tells me you can work a little quicker because of it?
Yeah, that's definitely the case. So embedded in our culture, and actually a couple of our core values are partnership and service, and that filters into then the work styles that we have as well. This openness to, I want to hear from you. I want to be a part of this. The invitation to be at the table. So there is a real emphasis on gathering the right people around the table at the same time. In our case, that means in person, virtually, hybrid, whatever it is, because everybody is, without judgment, encouraged to share their ideas around that. So you quickly flatten some of the bureaucracy while supporting the inclusion. So that shared governance piece is still there because you're accelerating it, kind of compressing it, and because you aren't trying to find one representative from a department of 10, because you might have a department of 1 doing something, you know who that person's going to be. We're able to, authentically, truthfully get together and get the job done, and then support each other, fail forward, fail fast, all that good stuff happens.
That's amazing. Well, Thom, I know you've got a busy afternoon here at HighEdWeb, and I so appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us here on Enrollify. What are you most looking forward to in the remainder of your time here at this conference?
So at least 2 things. One are the sessions that are ahead. There's already some on strategy, already some on team building, really creative use of graduate assistants and interns, and just that forward-thinking piece that's part of the conference sessions themselves. The other is, this has got to be one of the best marketplaces to meet face-to-face, one-on-one with vendors, anything web related. So I am going from booth to booth. Just we're having this conversation the same way I'm going to see what are the opportunities for that surgical kind of support, somebody coming in and helping you with that one thing, or that broad base. Maybe you need a whole new look at UI, UX, all of it. All of that's happening here, and that's exciting me because I've got 2 more full days of it.
And with that, listeners, we're going to let Thom get back to his learning. Thank you so much again, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
The Higher Ed Pulse is part of the Enrollify Podcast Network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our show helps higher ed marketers and admission pros find their next big idea and features a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Brian Gross, Eddie Francis, Jenny Lee Fowler, and so many of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.